The Russian African Corps has currently been intensifying airstrikes with different assortment of military capability, and most especially in the Kidal region. Now, let's be very, very honest. The situation in Kidal, when it comes to the military offensive of the Malian armed forces, it has been seriously underreported. And I don't know why. But truth be told, the Malian armed forces, together with the Russian African Corps, they continue serious military operation in the northern part of Mali, which is the Kidal region. And to be honest with you, there is only one party that has the direct, complete detail of what the casualty figure in the Kidal region is. And these are the employers of the mercenaries that are trying to destabilize Mali from the Kidal region. You and I know who sponsors them, who sponsors these guys. They have actually said it overtly on different media platforms that they have foreign legions on the ground assisting the FLA and the JNIM. I don't want to mention names here, but you all know. If anyone that has been following the information, definitely know those that have been funding the FLA and the JNIM. And these are the ones that are always aware of whatever is going on. Surprisingly, I got on the platform today, and I was shocked to see that the Western media and their intelligence agency, they are on each and every, I repeat, Telegram platform and other social media platform that reports or that gives exclusively clear report about the situation in the northern part of Mali. In fact, AES generally. And what have they been saying? It takes us to today's information. And we have to be careful with how these people are trying to, skedaddle and brainwash everybody into believing in their own crusade. Because recently, the US just launched a propaganda campaign through their ambassador to Mali, saying that US and Mali has a future, where they were promoting the US influence in line with the Mali Kura 2064. Whatever that means, they are the only one that knows that. I don't know. And they put a lot of propaganda machine behind this video promotion. There is this woman who is the US ambassador to Mali. She was the one that made the video on a Facebook Live. Now, after doing our research and checking the different countries where she has equally been on diplomatic mission, and by looking at the geopolitical growth, the development in that nation, you will realize that, well, there are some people that when they send them to certain location, you know the result you are going to get. So, for me, I don't know what type of relationship Mali wants to build with US. Don't talk to me about a win-win partnership with the United States. Don't try it. There is nothing like that. So for those that want to be like Android, you are too. No, there is no win-win partnership between Mali and the US. Everybody has to go their own way. I challenge anybody here to tell me any of the Western colonies that is developing. Any of the Western colonies all over the world, not just in Africa, that is developing. Once you are a protectorate of any of the Western nation, or you are a colony, you don't develop, they develop. You even go down, you are going on a retrograde mission. So now, the Russian African Corps have been releasing different video evidence of their military operation in Mali, which is very, very necessary. And the reason why it's necessary is because The West have been calling them Wagners. They don't even call them African Corps. Everybody know the position of the West when it comes to Russia. And everywhere they see a Russian personnel, they want to claim, oh, this is a bandit. This is a Wagner machinery. This is a former prisoner who got, de-radicalized somehow and incorporated into the Russian foreign defense security architecture. But that is not true. So there is this information that the Russian released on the 27th of June. And ladies and gentlemen, at the time, I spoke about the information, but it wasn't exclusive. And now I will take my time to blame the Russians too. When you release videos, try incorporating critical context. It doesn't matter. You have to be very, very clear on context. If you like, take this information. If you like, don't take this information. It is down to your own reputation. Because if I can see your videos, they can see it. They've equally been. In fact, all the human rights organizations are currently talking about this video. So it is very, very important for the Russians to don't only, I know they are trying to keep their surveillance operation, their, the way they perform their operation. I know they are trying to keep it classified. Because by the time you show them everything, they can equally build a counter capability to it. So that they can help their machinery out to circumnavigate what you are trying to do. Which is a good credit to the Russians. They don't talk too much. We know that talking is the game of the West. But again, you have to give context and you have to make some of your posts. You have to make it very, very exclusive. Let your reports be perfect so that the enemies don't have a way of telling everybody that you are committing war crime. So what happened? The Russians used one of their best capabilities in Mali. And this is around the Kidal region. This part is called Menaka. And there is a reason why Russia is performing this operation around Menaka. Because recently, we got information from Western media that the FLA and JNIM, they have promised to invade Menaka and Gao very, very soon. All right? They said they are going to invade Menaka and Gao very, very soon. And recently, for those that have been following information in Mali, you discover that in Gao, the Gatia pro-government Tuareg militia, they captured a lot of FLA, and those FLA terrorists were humiliated. All right? Now, this FLA terrorist that was humiliated, they were humiliated by the Tuaregs, not by the Malian forces. All right? So what now happened here now is that the Russians used their Lancet Zala drone. Now, this is the latest edition that can fly about 100 kilometers and carries a lot of payload and can hang in the air for over 30 to 40 minutes. So the Russian released this statement and look at the video they released. So, according to the report, the Russian armed forces claimed that they destroyed some FLA elements in Menaka. According to information from our intelligence source, they said that was a buffer zone between central Kidal and Menaka. And based on the latest reports, the level of airstrike in Kidal and the surveillance that has been carried out in central Kidal recently shows a very, very limited number of terrorists in central Kidal. From the video we saw here, I know that the terrorists in the vehicle, that is a vehicle where you have a driver, a passenger on the passenger seat in the front, and you have more than 4 people sitting at the back. Then you have the truck part where you have a lot of other terrorists occupying the pickup truck, the pickup part, right? Who is this person? Please, we don't want people to come and destabilize anybody here. Um, I've removed that person. I've removed you. Plus magnetics. Whatever your intention is, you take it to other places. You don't insult anybody on this community. This community belongs to reasonable and intelligent people. We don't we don't permit some type of behavior here. So according to information, all the JNIM on that vehicle and FLA, they were eliminated. And immediately after this mission, we got a report. And that report is coming from a particular human rights activist inside Menaka, according to the report we were given. They said this report came from an human rights activist inside Menaka. Now, where this operation happened is called the Tindamen region of Mali. That's the northeastern part of Mali. All right. So now, here is the critical detail. After publishing the image, or the video rather, local activists from Menaka, local activists from Menaka, said that the vehicle was carrying civilian operatives. What he meant by civilian operatives, I don't know. Civilian and operative, I don't know if they belong in the same context. Civilian operative, what were they operating on? Is it on mining or is it on mining field or whatever? He said the vehicle was carrying civilian operatives and not terror elements. Now, the Russians said that they professionally conducted their reconnaissance operation and they clearly verified that those elements were elements of the Western machineries. So we have two things here. And immediately, the Human Rights Watch started an allegation. Immediately, the Human Rights Watch did not wait. The Human Rights Watch claimed that the Russian Wagners, they didn't even call them African Corps, they said the Russian Wagners have started terminating civilian in the Kidal region. You see, this is what we know, that when they cannot defeat you on the battlefield, they enter the phase called information warfare. So this is a phase that is very, very prominent. It's a prominent part of the Western tactics. Even in Nigeria, when General Yejirika almost destroyed the Boko Haram, and the northern leaders that are pro-terrorists, they made an allegation that General Yejirika was destroying a lot of civilians. And with the help of the Human Rights Watch, Nigeria started incorporating the repentant Boko Haram into their system. And look at the results we have today. We now have, from that very bad system, we've now seen the outset of Lakurawa. We've now seen the outset of Islamic State in West African province. We've now seen the outset of Wulo Wulo. We've now seen the Mahmuda. According to information from open intelligence sources, they said they have almost 87 groups in Nigeria. Armed groups. So what they're trying to do now is to make the Russians and the Malian armed forces second guess. And you know, in this type of situation, the one that Mali finds herself today, you cannot second guess. You cannot doubt your capability. You cannot doubt your ability. This is what you were trained for. As long as your rules of engagement are together and your guidelines are within the professional confines, go ahead and do what you do, because a seconds later might mean that more than 100 civilians might be gone from this bad element. So I don't know. The Russian African Corps posted this information on the 27th of June. And on the 28th of June, Human Rights Watch spoke and they even condemned it. What information do they have? They spoke to an activist from Menaka. Another question we should ask. They said Human Rights Watch spoke with an activist inside Menaka. How did that activist, how did he get the links to contact Human Rights Watch so fast? Who is that activist? How long has he been working with Human Rights Watch? Because I am confused. And again, I'm repeating this. The Russians need to be very, very exclusive when it comes to how they provide their information. Because there was a time they posted a drone strike just some couple weeks back, and the context was not clear. Thank God that the farmers provided a very, very exclusive context. That was what saved today. Because immediately, the Western propaganda media have termed it as a war crime. So context is needed. It is not just the video. The context is very, very much, is very, very important to avoid legal discrepancies like this. Now, after the Human Rights Watch released this statement, they condemned and they said the Russians should start watching who they partner with, that the Russian Wagners are not the best entities for the Malian armed forces to partner with and all of that. Then who came out from the blue? There is an American personnel called Nick Checker. Nick Checker had a meeting with the Malian foreign minister, Abdoulaye Diop. He said that it is in the interests of the United States for Mali and US to have security partnership and economic partnership. All right. After he made this statement, this meeting happened just days after this blackmail campaign. So what they are trying to do is destroy the image of Russia and try to carefully, promote the image of the United States. Here is the thing. A lot of people will say that, Mali is committing this, Mali is committing that. It is France here, it is France there. All right, accepted. But we cannot say at this point that it is only France that is committing this crime anymore. We cannot say that it's France anymore. There is this American pilot, this mystery pilot that he called Kevin Ridout. All right? They call him Kevin Ridout. Are you aware that the US said that they are still looking for this pilot inside Mali? They gave a report that in March that they nearly reached an agreement with Mali to fly their reconnaissance drone over the airspace of Mali. They said they nearly had an agreement. And just a week plus after they talked about nearly having that agreement, in April, the attack happened. They talked about the agreement in March. In April, the attack happened in Mali. And here we are again. So now, you see, it is the discrimination and it is the hypocrisy. You see, in 2021, 22 Malians were unalived by the French drones representing Operation Barkhane. 22 civilians were killed in Mali. ECOWAS was silent. African Union was silent. Not only that, France denied it. The United Nations investigation was blocked. The question is, who blocked the investigation? I've said, you see all these international constructs called organization, they are to serve the agenda of the imperialists. That's 22 Malians. Nobody, no account. In Libya, AFRICOM, that is the US foreign military state. In Libya or in Somalia, the US AFRICOM neutralized many civilians. All right? And after the allegation came from Somalia, from Libya, the US said there were no casualties. They released a statement that there were no casualties and everybody should move on. These are documented facts. Now, African Corps launched a drone strike with reconnaissance, carefully conducted, and within 48 hours, the Western Human Rights Watch, that's the right name, they released a statement that a local activist claimed, a local activist, all right, that a local activist said that the strike was on civilian operatives. So we can see the storyline, we can see where they are going towards, we can see what they are trying to do. But the guarantee is, so far so good, it has not worked. The question is, how long will the US and our allies like France, like Italy, you see, that's the name that is shocking the most. We have gotten reports where Italy was involved. We've gotten audio conversation where instruction was being passed directly to the JNIM in Italian language. This is this. I have 2 reports, audio reports, video reports. It's 2 with Italian language. The last report, Polish came up. Polish operatives came up when they were trying to help the FLA understand the repair, the manipulation of the drone. So I've been telling a lot of people that this is not France alone. This is AES standing against the entire Western construct in Africa. So what is going on in Mali right now is the alliance of Sahel states fighting against the imperial old order of the West. All right. Now, the thing is this. The attack that happened in Niger, where the Islamic States made videos. I posted a video on my Telegram channel. All right. I posted a video on my Telegram channel. They made a video stepping their foot on Nigerian soldiers, showing videos of how they took a base, they inflated the number of casualties. Did the Human Rights Watch condemn that? Did the Western media report that? But a drone strike without evidence, if they were civilians or whatever, they are coming out with an allegation. That means they want the Malians to, they don't want you to attack the terrorists. They don't want you to defend yourself. Because if it is not the occupying forces of the West, anything that happens to you, you are supposed to accept it. Well, my opinion about this is that there is a saying, there's a Yoruba adage that says, if your enemies don't like what you are doing, it simply means what you are doing is the right thing. So the message is, with good professionalism, continue to carry out your job. You are moving in the right direction. They threaten that Kidal is going to fall. Kidal has not fallen. Every airstrike, they call it war crime. But when over 12,000 terrorists invaded Mali, a state in West Africa is about to fall, and it's about to be the first caliphate of a terrorist organization in global geopolitics. That was their construct. That was their framing on their diabolic media spaces. Well, this is a very, 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 very good response from the Malian armed forces. Now, you see, the deployment of the Lancet Zala drone is a message. It's a big message. According to the narrative you will see, just in case you see this information, I just want to inform you now, in case you see the narrative, that the Russian armed forces are now taking a back seat and they are pushing the Malian armed forces forward. They said the Russians have retreated from Kidal. They said the Russians are now using fiber optic drone that cannot be jammed by electronic warfare. You know why they are making all this story up? The Russians have used normal FPV drones before, and it had been jammed before, because the West gave the FLA, electronic warfare devices, they gave it to them. And the Russians had to change to fiber optic drone. We saw the airstrike. We saw the drone strike with fiber optic capability, where they destroyed the JNIM, fuel infrastructure. They went to buy fuel from a long distance. And after, we saw a video where a lot of JNIM operatives were pushing motorcycles. So it means that the Russians were doing something very, very good. That said, what the Russians are doing in Mali is what the West said they would not do. Mali begged for help. Let us put it that way. Mali begged that we are ready to pay. We need somebody to come and sell us military equipment. But because they did not get orders from France, because the West did not get approval from France, because based on their construct and their design, France is supposed to sign that you can now sell equipment to them before they can defend themselves. What type of association is that? So for you to defend yourself now, you have to call France. War is going on in Mali. But before they can even shoot a bullet, they have to call France. War is going on. It doesn't make any sense. On this particular matter, the West have failed. They should forget it. Go see, you have Nigeria under your whims and caprices. You have Ivory Coast under your whims and caprices. You partially have Togo under your wings. Go and manage those ones that are not ready to change. We are not, look, I'm a Nigerian. I'm not speaking against the interest of the West in Nigeria, because the leaders are not even ready. And most of the people are not ready. But you see this AES, so forget it. This AES matter, forget it. Where are your premise to back up that point that strike on that pickup vehicle that was filled with terrorists was a war crime? This is the narrative in every country. When you terminate a terrorist, they call it war crime. In what normal environment do you tell people to rehabilitate dangerous elements like the Boko Haram and bring them into your military that wants to come and protect civilians? They will tell you to bring them back to your military and deploy them together on the same combat mission. Now we are getting reports in Nigeria that those repentant elements are killing Nigerian personnel on the front line. There is a Nigerian bandit called Kashala. He was the one that unalived a Nigerian retired brigadier general recently. Have you heard what he said? He said he's informed about every single step the Nigerian army is taking against him. He said the last operation they launched for his manhunt, he said he's 10 steps ahead of them because part of the personnel in the military, they give him the direct information. We are in certain place. We are in this place. Live wherever you are. We are coming. He said, and I quote, that most of the personnel are his boys. He said most of the personnel in the Nigerian army are his boys. What does that tell you? The West want to destroy the spirit of our military. They want to render it useless. It's down to Africans to decide. And for Mali, they are doing the right thing. Before I go, there is this video, there is another picture going up and about. And I want to bring out something just for you to understand again. There was this image that was posted inside Mali. I don't know if it's even Mali. So there was this I don't know if it's a terrorist or a civilian. He was unalived. He was pieced apart. And his body, I know a lot of people have seen this video. If you are in the French speaking geolocation, you know this video. Or if you're in, some of you in the Anglophone region, you've seen the picture. So his limbs was twisted like in a direction, and it was used to form the swastika logo. That is the icon of the Nazis. All right. So this swastika icon. So that is a person, according to the information, allegedly found in Mali, unalived, dehumanized, and set up to form a swastika logo. And the Western media claimed that this is an operation of the Russian African Corps. Number one thing about this information that is so scary is that the first outlet to bring out this information was a Western outlet. Do you think we are stupid in Africa? The first outlet to bring out the information was a Western outlet. Are you telling me that Elon Musk does not know the geolocation of this guy called Brand Philip that praised the activities of the Boko Haram, the JNIM, the FLA, and all other terrorist groups? Are you telling me that they don't know its location? Let anybody not make anybody look stupid here. Russians, they hate the Nazis the most in this planet. The Russians hate the Nazis the most. So you cannot give us that information. The propaganda campaign on the 25th of April, when Mali was left to their fate, the Russians stood side by side with the Malians to fight against the JNIM and the FLA coalition, together with Ukrainians and the Westerns in Mali. They claimed that Mali will soon fall, but Mali did not fall. The Russians bled. I have seen those airstrikes. According to the West, they said the terrorists used drone drops to kill a lot of Russians in Mali. We have seen those footage. You know, this is how I see it as an African. Let me put it that way. The fact that the Russians have come to Africa and they've bled on this our soil. I don't care what France did in 2012. We're not in 2012. We're not in 2012. I have seen the Russians bleed in Mali. I've seen more than 60 of them surrender in less than 24 hours. They paid the ultimate price. You cannot destroy the image of those type of people. You don't even talk about it. Talking about the Russians in Mali is like talking about us in our territory. Don't do it. Don't talk about the Russians at all. You see this whole propaganda. You want to destroy Russian image and you want to set up a meeting. There is no influence anywhere. Russians are here and they have come to stay. No matter the level of manipulation, go home. Russians don't have a colony. No matter the propaganda you want to build, they did not colonize any African country. You colonized. And none of your colony has developed till this day. Go and listen to Vladimir Solovyov. He said no Western colony has developed. Go and look at those countries from 1960, whatever, or before then till now. Corruption, crime, terrorism. Look at Nigeria. Is Nigeria improving? In 2010, the Nigeria of 2010 was far better than the Nigeria of today. No Western colony. You want to compare this Mahama's Ghana to Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana? Or do you want to compare the DRC of Lumumba? You want to compare it with this terrible DRC? Let's be honest with ourselves. The alliance of the West is an alliance from Mordor. All failed states from left to right. Look at the South Africa of today. The quality of men have reduced. The closer you get to the West, the farther you return back to the Stone Age. And now in Nigeria, now in Africa, people want to go back to their values. The values that the West told them that it's not reasonable for them to continue to practice those values. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will drop my point. I will drop my pen at this point. I will say we have gotten the propaganda message. And by our own judgment, you don't have enough evidence to call it a war crime. You are not there. You are not present inside Mali. You are not present inside Mali because you choose not to be present inside Mali. Because you said, according to Rudy Atala, that for the United States to partner with Mali, the Malians have to remove the Russians. And to remove the Russians from Mali at this point will only be the decision of the Malian government and the Malian people. And the Malian people have said no. Because right now, we Africans, see, I'm telling you, it might have not gotten to my country. We Africans, we see Russians just the way we see ourselves. So it's like you are reporting me to me. So don't worry about, see, Africa is not, we are not in 20, see, we are not in 2002. We are not in 2007. We are in 2026. Forget this media warfare. Forget the media warfare is over. You cannot see who, I don't know which people they are trying to to manipulate. You did it in Ghana. This mystery guy show up from the blue, and you said it's a Russian guy taking advantage of Ghanaian ladies. It won't work on intelligent people. It can only work on the people that are normally backward. Those are the people that those propaganda can work on, not us. The Russians are helping the Malians protect Malian territory. So families, this is the information that I think I need to address because it is now becoming too frequent. Even when the Malian armed forces attack, they call it war crime. We know that the FLA's headquarters is in Paris. They travel to Paris. Wassim Nassar is always on France 24. Have the human rights condemned that? Families, don't let me take your time. I made a promise to somebody on this platform today that all my videos will now be 15 minutes. But I have just entered 41 minutes now. I'm so sorry for taking your time to this point. From today onward, our videos will not be more than 15 minutes. Maximum 20 minutes. So thank you for watching and God bless you. This particular video is for the community. So this is not a regular video. This is for the Android community. Because a regular video we are going to report and give our opinion. This is more deeper. All right? This is for the Android community. So thank you so much. Mr. Nelson, By Design, Simanera, Michael Shows, Omaketa, Khadija, Justice, Jack, CS, Edgy, Roxy Angel, By Design, everybody on the Android community that continue to support our progress and growth. We really appreciate you. And tomorrow we'll be back with our normal video. But this particular one is for the direct war that we are waging against the people that are trying to disturb our peace. So thank you so much and God bless you. Bye-bye.